a bar from Sunset Boulevard. I woke up.
Good Wednesday, everybody. It's time for pACT. How are you all doing? My name is Zach Clayton, President, Founder of Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the pACT channel. I hope you guys are ready for a worldwide adventure today. We're going to be speaking to a lady who escaped from Cambodia 45 years ago, and we're also going to be talking to somebody from Johannesburg, South Africa, not South America, like I said in the video itself. So I did look on a map and I couldn't find it anywhere in South America. Nowhere. You can't find it. Not anywhere there. So, but if you look in the right continent, you're going to find it. So how y'all doing? Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day here in Colorado. I hope that the day is as good as been as good as it was here. Pretty much in the 80s. No longer snowing here in Colorado, which is a good thing, since we had snow like 3 weeks ago or something like that, which was just ridiculous. But hey, we have a couple things coming up, and we were trying to get this to where we could have a couple friends come on to talk about it. You guys know that I have a huge passion for Martyred Angels, and they have an event coming up this Saturday at the Boulder Elks Lodge. And if you're in Colorado, I implore you, please, please, please go and join John and support him. We're asking one more thing. If you're in the area, if you're in the northern Colorado area, Denver area, Boulder area, and you have things that you can donate for a silent auction, we desperately, desperately need your help. Please contact us at 970-909-0751. 970-909-0751. You can also download that beautiful little QR code right above me and shop with any of our partners, and a portion will go directly to Martyred Angels to continue their mission, which is helping parents and families after the devastating loss of a child. John started this foundation after he lost his son Bladen at 3 years old. Bladen escaped from inside the house when mom was sick, went outside and unfortunately drowned on the family pond. So John went through a lot to get this going, but he's asking for your help. If you can donate, please donate now. Go to martyredangelsfoundation.org. martyredangelsfoundation.org. Donate, read the story. Please, I beg you to read the story, because I'm going to tell you, if a tear don't well in your eyes, you may not be human. Just saying. We've got one other event that's coming up that you've heard us talk a lot about, and we really need your support for. We've got Hope Stock coming up real soon, and on January 29th, 30th, and 31st. Our friend Brian has been busting his butt trying to get sponsors. He needs sponsors now. We need your help, please. Go to projectdiehard.org. and you can check out everything. You can go onto Facebook to Project Die Hard, go on to LinkedIn, go on to wherever you want. They're looking for sponsors now. They've already had to let go of 2 of the performers because sponsorships have been a little dry. Folks, we know that things are a little hard and hectic right now. Okay. Understandable. Everything is a little bit heavy right now. We know that there's some bad stuff coming, but the truth is that you have the possibility to get out in front of close to 3 million people with all the streaming we're going to do on Friday the 29th. Okay, 3 million people for a $1,000 donation. So get your company out there, get it be seen, and what are you going to be doing? You're going to be saving heroes' lives. We're trying to get the FOBs up and operational. To do that, we need your help. Okay, so please go to projectdiehard.org, or once again, little QR code right there. Anytime you make a purchase with any of our partners, Take a picture of the receipt and scan it right into that QR code, and a portion of the sales will go straight to Project Die Hard. So just remember, you see the number 22 there on the logo. Folks, that's an old number. It's 35 a day. We're losing 35 veterans a day. That is going to be close to 15,000 in the year of 22. Okay. So let's make sure that we try to save their life. And numbers could be as much as 37. Okay. But the numbers aren't good. I don't care if it's 22, 37. VA statistics are reporting that it's one veteran every 90 minutes. 15,000. Okay. So please do your part. Do a part where you can sponsor $1, sponsor $1. If you can sponsor 1,000, sponsor 1,000. If you just need to shop, go to this little QR code here, scan it, take a picture of the receipt, send it right in there. They're going to give us a referral fee. That referral fee is as good as a donation. We get a part of that back. We're giving 80% of it to Project Die Hard. 80% of whatever that company agrees to give us is going to places like Project Die Hard, projects like Martyred Angels, the Avery Center, Veterans Ranch, going all over the place. Okay, going to your neighbor who is in trouble. That is the Community Pay It Forward program. That's what we're doing. We're here to help. You want some information, you want to find out how to do this, get a hold of us at networking@communitypayitforward.us, networking@communitypayitforward.us. Send us an email. I'll send you the information. Let's get you on board. What we're trying to do is we're trying to build a database of people who, no matter what you have to do in a day, you can donate to causes from around the world, because nobody has to go it alone when we all come together. We have a fantastic, like I said, worldwide show today. We've got a lot of very great people. I've recorded 2 of the interviews today, and now I'm about ready to bring up one of my brand new friends who I met him last week, and he and I are working together to do a lot of good things. Our quote of the day: power is the ability to do good things for others. I read this and I was like, that's just wonderful, because that's Community Pay It Forward. That's also a really big part of what my next guest, Mr. Joel Sachs, is creating. Hello, Joel. How you doing there, buddy?
I'm doing great, Zach. Can you hear me?
Yep. Can you hear you loud and clear? How you doing?
All right. I'm coming from Walnut Creek, California.
Right on. Hey, I actually, the last time I checked, my Royals were beating your Giants, so that was good. Then again, that was about 3 hours ago, so they probably blew it in the end. I have faith in my Royals.
Right.
I used to always tell people that, I can't say I'm a baseball fan. I like the Rockies and the Royals, and they don't play good baseball at all. So, but it's really good to see you, Joel. Joel, you've invited us to come out and spread our word at a alliance that you belong to.
Yes.
And it's worldwide kind of
Global Chamber Cooperative.
There you go. You want to tell us a little bit about that, please?
Sure. Global Chamber Cooperative, or GCC, is a group of individuals that get together every week on Wednesdays, and we are really committed to basically what you're talking about, paying it forward. We are mission driven. Everyone comes together. It's not a networking group in the sense that we don't go into breakout rooms, but we do network by sharing with each other our visions, our purposes, what we do. We have some amazing members in there. One gentleman, for example, is the head of, is a 10th degree black belt in karate, and he is the head of the American Martial Arts Alliance. We have another gentleman who has done public speaking for many, many years, and has shared the screens with the likes of Mark Victor Hansen, Zig Ziglar, Jack Canfield, you name it. Les Brown, he's been on the stage with these guys. Amazing, amazing thought leaders. And I have learned and grown from these guys so much. So yeah, it's a fantastic group of people. And if you go to zoomturtle.com, as in tortoise, zoomturtle.com, and click on the very top button at Wednesdays at 9 o'clock, at noon Pacific time. Wednesdays at noon Pacific time. Every Wednesday we get together, and your audience is invited to explore and see what we do. We're very excited about the group and want to help others and pay it forward like you do.
You know, it was there was a story that was told today by a lady veteran who had flown a couple missions over in the Middle East, and I thought it was a wonderful thing because she was talking about all the things that she had done in the Middle East, and then she gets home and she's flying commercially uh, when her husband passed. And so she was talking about how, there are so many gut punches in life, and she was able to take and stand up, and now she's running for office in Sacramento, correct?
Correct. She's running for a state assembly in Sacramento, and
So,
won the primary, by the way. So she's off to the general now.
well, that's fantastic. And I mean, Carol was her name?
Kathy.
Kathy. Okay, yeah. So, but yeah, so many good people in that meeting, and I know that we had a great time. We got to go and introduce the Community Pay It Forward program. We're going to be having a couple meetings here in the next couple
Yes.
days, and we're extremely excited about that as well.
And there are a
Uh,
lot of great nonprofit organizations in there. Floyd Smith from the Fifth Dimension has an awesome nonprofit called Music Therapy for Vets,
yes,
because music has been shown to really help with PTSD and other ailments that vets suffer from. So he is committed through his nonprofit to help vets deal with those issues they're facing now.
yeah, you know, and it that really makes sense to you. It really does, Joel, because when you think about it, um, music is the one thing that can pull emotion out of you, no matter what emotion you're going through at that time. You gauge everything you do. You can gauge your life on the music that you're listening to right now, right at that moment.
Absolutely. One thing I've recently found, if for any of your listeners that get Netflix, and you may want to check this out too, Zach, check out Moving Art on Netflix. Oh my gosh, it is amazing. It is the most relaxing thing I have found. It's really beautiful images of Machu Picchu and whales in the ocean and flowers and waterfalls. Each episode has a different theme of amazing, beautiful images with the most relaxing music to accompany it. No, my gosh, if you want to have a de-stressor, just watch Moving Art on Netflix. I promise you, you're gonna love it.
Yeah, see, I'm kind of a wackadoo. I'll be honest here. I listen to the heavy metal stuff. That's me, Mister Ah. And been doing that forever. And so it's kind of funny. Somebody will come in and I'm listening to something goofy like, oh, we'll just say Psycho Stick, and you can tell I'm in a great mood. I'm playing a little, dancing around, being a little bit goofy. And if I'm dancing around, it's got to be a little bit goofy. Either that or I stub my toe on something, which I do quite often as well.
Right.
But you can tell when I've got something on my mind by what I'm listening to, or if I'm just angry. Well, you can really tell that too. So I've been riding my motorcycle, and people come up to me and they go, "Are you okay?" So it's just kind of one of those things that's really, really interesting. You are part of a new venture that's coming out that is extremely exciting because we are talking about how Community Pay It Forward can partner up with this. This is something that is for the restaurants alone. This is something that is desperately needed because they've been getting through out of necessity. They were getting ripped over the coals for the last couple of years due to COVID and not being able to open up. But if they wanted to open up, they had to offer delivery. Well, along came some of these life-saving delivery companies that are just charging them way too much. You want to tell us a little bit about Zen?
Absolutely. Thank you, Zach, for the opportunity. So Zen Delivery is really disrupting, as you said, the food delivery industry. Typically, on average, the big boys like DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats, they charge 30% on average to have the food delivered they charge the restaurant 30% to have their food delivered to the customer. And restaurants typically operate on 5 to 15%, 20% if they're lucky margins. There's no way they can absorb that 30% hit. So typically what has to happen is that those restaurants then must pass that cost on to their customer. So the customer is paying a huge price to have the food delivered versus dining in. So what we've done is we've taken that and turned it up on its ear. So instead of charging the restaurant that 30%, we will charge the restaurant a flat $2 to $4 fee to have the food delivered. So on any order up to $50, the restaurant is charged just $2. From $50 to $100, it's $3. And any order over $100, even if it's a catering order, it's just $4 flat fee. So restaurants should be able to afford that small fee. As a result, they will then be able to charge their delivery customers the same price as their dine-in customers, and it's a real win-win-win situation.
This is so necessary because, Joel, you know as well as I do that we've got some troubled times coming. We were talking about it a little bit last week, and we're going to continue to talk about it because we want people to take the emergency steps that are necessary to understand we've got some very, very tough times ahead of us. We know that the economy is about ready to take a massive downturn. And I mean, you can already look at the fuel prices and you already know you can feel your pockets turning inside out. And we know that this is coming. Programs like yours, like Zen Delivery, programs like ours, stuff that you can really make a difference in somebody's life. You can really keep people alive by what we're doing. These are going to be more important, and I think these right now this is the time to get this stuff going because we're going to have a lot of people in need. I've heard a couple times how this is going to make 2008 seem like a joyride. And if that's true, we're in trouble.
You're right. We're already seeing those trends. I don't mean to be a doomsayer, but I think that we haven't hit the bottom yet. And so you're right, a company like Zen, make it so that restaurants and the customers and drivers we haven't even spoken about are treated fairly is, extremely important in the whole delivery chain.
The one thing that I've noticed about drivers, and I know a couple drivers, I do. My father for a while was a driver, and it's a job that students can handle because they can do homework until there's a job. They're not sitting there waiting for an order to come up. They can be doing what they're doing, and then they go. It's a great job to have because you can kind of keep yourself in your own zones and everything like that. So, and this is one of those things that in a college town, I know we see so many of those with those stickers in them, with the Uber stickers, with all those, and they're all over the place. So, I'm excited to see this because those drivers, they're going to make the same amount of money, right?
Well, actually, I would argue they would make more money because it's not uncommon with some of those other big companies where a driver is stiffed completely with no tip. With us, the driver has to receive a minimum of a 10% tip, but more likely it'll be closer to 20% because when the order is placed, the tip amount is automatically defaulted at 20% of the entire food bill. And then the customer has to manually go in and lower it down to 10% if they choose, but they can never go below 10. So to me, that is fair, and so you won't see that happen with Zen drivers.
One of the things that really drives me crazy is that you have people like there's a certain pizza chain out there that right now is talking about tipping you when you come pick up your own pizza.
I've seen the ad.
And they're telling us that that delivery is a difficult thing to do, and yada yada yada, and you deserve a tip. Well, here's $3.
Right.
I would never, ever, ever give my pizza guy just $3. I just wouldn't do that.
Right.
But
Right.
it seems to us that's kind of what they're wanting you to do sometimes. It's like, there's when you go in there and it's just like, okay, well, it looks like you've already got it figured out. They already know what they're going to get. And so
Yeah. And
but
this,
it's nice that they're not going to be stiffed for this. So that
well, and
is
the other thing too, Zach, that I failed to mention is the fact that we also think that it's perfectly fair that the driver be compensated for his gas too,
yeah.
especially with the high prices of gas. So that's also built into the platform that the customer will be paying the driver for gas. And let me make one thing also perfectly clear. The driver gets 100% of their tip and gas. No money is skimmed off the top like some other companies have been known to do. We will give them 100% of what they deserve.
That's great to hear. I love hearing that because those kids are out there, those individuals are out there, and look, let's be honest. Being out there now with all these other crazy drivers, it's not the safest place in the world to be sometimes. So their job's not
Yeah.
really as easy as and dealing with
Yeah.
people sometimes is, and especially hungry fat guys like myself, guys who are sitting there answering the door with a fork and a knife going, give me food, so I mean,
Yeah.
there is
Can I give an example from the restaurant's perspective?
yes,
In terms of the power of this from a restaurant's perspective?
please
Okay.
do.
All right. So let's suppose, well, the national average for the number of deliveries that a restaurant makes a day is 30 deliveries a day across the entire industry. So let's suppose a restaurant does 20 deliveries a day. Also, the national average for the size of delivery is about $40, okay, for a delivery. So let's use those numbers. And at 30% of what the restaurant is typically charged, okay? So using all three of those numbers. So you take $40 times 30%, that's $12, right? And you times that by 20 deliveries a day. Now so that's 12 times 20. That's $360 a day. Let's multiply that by 365 days a year. That totals $90,000 that restaurant will be billed in delivery fees each year. What will Zen do? Zen will take, and so rounding off, we're going to say that 7,500 deliveries a year, okay? 365 times 20, we'll round off and say it's 7,500. Okay, so that's 12 times 7,500 is $90,000. We will charge that same restaurant $15,000 to deliver their food for the year, saving that restaurant 75 grand a year.
That's amazing. I mean, and that is, as a guy who's got so many friends in the restaurant business, that is just, it's going to be a game changer. It's truly going to be a game changer. There is one other thing that Zen Delivery is looking at, and this is great for our local nonprofits. Why don't you tell us about that?
Well, absolutely. So we also have, this is going to be launched. We're not quite ready to launch this. This will be in the first part of August. But at that point in time, we will have an affiliate program, and it's perfect. It's totally free to become an affiliate with Zen Delivery. Okay. So what happens if a nonprofit, let's say, what was the nonprofit? My favorite one is of yours that you represent. What's the one that is just getting started that has the martial arts equipment?
Oh, you're talking about Deb's MMA class.
Yes. MMA Closet. That's a great example. So let's suppose MMA Closet decides that they would like to become an affiliate. Deb would sign up as a nonprofit. Then all of Deb's supporters we'd like to get them on the platform. And every time that supporter places an order, a small piece of that order will go to Deb's nonprofit.
That sounds eerily familiar to a program that I know.
What's that?
Mine.
Oh,
So once again, there's a lot of synergy there, and I think that it's I really do. You and I were talking about this, and first off, we both got the love of baseball, and now we've got again, fat guy problems, got the love of food, but so this is just something that's really great. um you guys are planning on releasing this in like 4 different stages. It was said today.
yes,
um you really want to make sure that this comes out right.
absolutely. We're just, yeah, right now we just launched stage one as of Monday. In stage one, we can actually start bringing in restaurants and anyone that is looking to have a side hustle or help us open communities throughout the country. We're trying to build this. So that's phase one. Phase two is coming in August, and there are a couple of exciting things I talked about being able to enroll and fill. It's one of the nice things about this too. Once phase two launches in August, Zach, is that restaurants will then be able to refer other restaurants or their drivers or their customers and create an additional profit center for the restaurant. Not just save money, but they can actually have a profit center. So what if the restaurant could pull in an extra $2,500 or $3,000 a month by simply referring other restaurants, customers, and drivers to the platform? What could they do for their employees, for example, with added benefits, or maybe their marketing, or whatever the restaurant owner chooses to do? It's an extra bonus amount of money. So not only are they saving money, but they're actually making money off of this platform. It's an amazing model.
Yeah, and I reiterate, this is a perfect time for this to be happening. You've got so much that potentially could go wrong for these smaller restaurants, that this could really save their lives. You cannot go nowadays without without a delivery program. You just can't do it. I know that we've got a restaurant I absolutely love here in our town, but they are still not open. They have not opened their indoor seating, and I don't know why everywhere else has, but it's their own beliefs. It's their restaurant. They're free to do what they want. This being a small restaurant, I could see how this could potentially be a win-win for them. Because I mean, let's be honest. $2, $13. Which one would I rather pay? Well, obviously the $2.
Absolutely. And, chances are the restaurant isn't paying that $13, but they're passing on to their customer,
Yeah.
and their customer is not happy paying that inflated price.
Yeah, yeah. I know I've had some deliveries where, and the restaurants will remain nameless, and I get the bill at the end, and just thinking, wow, I mean, I go to the store and I spend $20, and I just spent 45, and it's like, wait a minute.
From.
So that's a little scary. So Joel, once again, I want to thank you for joining us and telling us a little bit about Zen delivery, and of course, once again, to give us the information about the network, or about the event on Wednesdays, please.
Okay. Again, zoomturtle.com. It's right there. Every Wednesday at noon Pacific time. When you go to that website, you'll see a series of buttons. Click on the very top button, and it'll take you right into the Zoom room. I promise it will be a wonderful use of your time. You'll meet a lot of amazing people. I'll just give you one other example of somebody. He wasn't there today, but Aaron Avila is a true inspiration. He suffered from a stroke. You can tell he had a stroke by his speech. Nonetheless, his clarity and his communication, his passion is totally with us. And he's put together an organization called Stroke TV. And it's about educating people about strokes. He interviews other stroke survivors. That's the kind of people we're bringing. It's a nonprofit. These are the types and quality of people that are on this call. So if you want to meet amazing, like-minded people that are mission and service-driven, come to Zoom Turtle. Thank you, Zach.
Yeah, and you know, there's no fee to come and check it out. You know, I mean, and like I said, it's a great group of people. You feel absolutely welcome, which is really nice. You know, it's compared to some of the other networking groups that I've been to, where you kind of feel like you're intruding. And you know, look, MLMs are part of business. They truly are. There's not a lot of MLMs in your group, because these are really people who want, once again, they want to make what they do, they want to make it special. They want to get it out there, and they want to try to be part of something better than them. So, Joel, I appreciate you joining us today. I thank you so very much, and I look forward to continuing our conversations. But have a great day, my sir.
Very, very good. Thank you, Zach, for the opportunity. It's a pleasure. And yes, I look forward to working with you too, my friend.
All right. Thank you. Okay, everybody, that was my friend Joel Sachs. Like I said, he's got a lot of stuff coming up. He's got so much that's happening, so many good programs that are happening, and I'm really looking forward to doing more with them. Come and join us just go to the Zoom Turtle. It's the first button on top on Wednesday. It's at 2 o'clock East. No, noon East. Noon East. Sorry about that. And so come on up, join us. It really is a good time. I think that's right. 11. Oh, what am I doing?
Noon Pacific.
Noon Pacific. Okay. I see him shaking his head, so I'm glad you didn't go nowhere. Noon Pacific. I'm a trained professional. Watch out, everybody. So thank you again, Joel. I'm glad that you stuck around to save my life there. So we got a real quick word about something that's going on with Hope Stock. I hope you guys stick with us. We've got a couple great interviews that we're going to be sharing right after this.
Hey folks, I'm Chip Wynn with Chip Wynn Motors and Chip Wynn Classic Cars right here in Paducah, Kentucky. Today I want to tell you about something that's near and dear to my heart, Project Die Hard. Now what is that? That is an organization set up to help our veterans who are transitioning from military life back into civilian life, and to help them do it in a healthy and good way. We need your support, we need your help, we need your financial help. What we're going to do is the weekend of July 28th, 29th, and 30th, we're going to have a massive celebration and a fundraiser for Project Die Hard. Even Saturday, July the 30th, we are going to have a classic car show. Not only our cars will be in it, but the public will be invited to participate as well. Now is the time to step up and support a really worthy organization. Project Die Hard. Come on and join us.
We want to make mention that the dates on that commercial were wrong, but we still think it's going to be a great thing. Please remember the dates are the 29th through the 31st, not the 28th through the 30th. So things happen when you're trying to record live and all of a sudden you trip over your tongue. I know one guy who trips over his tongue quite often, so I can attest to that. So next up, we've got a video that I recorded earlier with she's an author, and her story is something fantastic. At a young age, back in 1974, she was living in Cambodia, and we all know what was going on at that time in Cambodia. We know it wasn't a pretty place to be, and well, communism came in, and not forcing them to move, but giving them an option that you could either, or you could either try to escape, or your life was going to become something that you didn't want it to be. You guys met Gabriel 2 weeks ago, and Sarah is the leader of the Central Florida group with Gabriel's networking out of Florida. But you know what? There are people who are outside of Florida who go to this, and you're going to meet two of them tonight. There's of course myself, and then my second guest, George. The next video that I've got after this one, George, and he's all the way in uh, South Africa, not South America. Stop trying to say that, Zach. It's South Africa. So, but so once again, these networking groups that we tell you about, they're not for, people in certain areas. These are for to meet people. Okay. These are to do great things with. These people are out there doing some wonderful things. So I'd like to, without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Sarah M. and her wonderful book. It's called How I Survived the Killing Fields. So please enjoy this video, and then we'll be back after that. Hey everybody, it's Zach Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the pACT channel. I'm here with a wonderful author, a wonderful friend, and you're the leader of the Central Florida group.
Yeah.
That once again was started by Gabriel, who you all met 2 weeks ago. So this is another, you're going to meet George a little bit later on from that same group. One of the great things about this group is that it's full of some talented people. And I'm going to put in the chat here in a minute the link that you can join us next week for this group. So please, if you're not busy it's at Tuesday at what I'm one
Cool.
at 2 o'clock Eastern. So 2 o'clock Eastern. So that means noon here in the Mountain Time. So if you're not doing anything, please make sure that you come and join us. And joining us right now is Mrs. Sarah M. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you, Zach. How are you?
I'm doing great, doing great. I love being able to do this because I love, I've been able to read a little bit of your story, and I think this is great. You wrote a book called How I Survived the Killing Fields. This book is exactly what you say it is. It's all about a journey you had, and you've survived. Can you tell us a little bit about the story?
Yeah, the story is, well, I grew up in Cambodia, and when I have a chance to attend college in the big city, I was far away from home. And the communist Khmer Rouge took over our country. And they came in with anger and madness and with hate. And they pursued to shut down everything in the country, basically in the whole country. And then they also evacuate people out of the city. And I left everything behind and then just walk away. Just go through the motion, follow everybody else.
And when was this? What year was this?
1975.
1975. So it's been a little bit, but it's not something that you get over very easy, is it? It's really kind of taken and shaped your life. You got here to America though, and when did you decide to write the book?
I decided to write a book 7 years ago in 2015.
And was the process easy? Was it really hard on how you, hard on you personally? Or did you find that it just really flowed out and it was an easy thing to write?
It's very difficult because a lot of information was forgotten because I want to forget I didn't want to remember all that difficult time. So now when I decide to write, I had to try to remember everything all over again. It was very difficult.
We don't want to focus too much on the bad. I asked you to come on because you've turned this into something that's good. You've turned this into, you're an inspirational speaker now. You are the director of Christian professionals in Tampa. You've got a lot of stuff going on now, and it was all brought on by your strength of this journey, correct?
Yeah, yes. The difficult time helped shape my strength. So I did, I want to use it as my strength, not as my weakness. I don't want to let it destroy my life. No, I want to use my pain into a purpose. I want to use it to help people.
Sarah, what would you say the one thing that you have really grown personally? What is the one thing that this has helped you grow? What would that be?
I would say I become kinder. I treat people with kindness and with love, because what happened in the past was because of the lack of kindness, the lack of compassion, and lack of love. When people come in to destroy our life, they were angry at us. So that that's not the way we should treat each other. If we don't treat each other with hate, with resentment, with anger, we will use the kindness, love, and compassion. If we live with those kind of positive mindset, positive attitude, we are in a better world. We we support each other, we help each other out, and we are kind to each other. So uh, then there will be no war.
We know that right now we're kind of going through another conflict. Well, we're not kind of going through, we are going through another conflict. Russia again is involved. Communism, uh, uh, Putin has made a couple comments about communism, and he just renamed a square Lenin Square again. He's trying to bring back communism. He was a soldier of communism, and I think that he's trying to bring that back. Well, I guess I'll call it think right now. You lived through some of that, and what you just said is really important, because I do you think that if we really sit down and we start understanding each other's journey, that would help each other?
I think so too, because each one of us have our own story.
Yep.
You may not have been through the communist regime, but you've been through your own challenges yourself in life. So if we try to understand each other's story, we will treat each other better.
Stories involve struggle. Struggle involves learning, and uh, learning promotes growth. Um, do you still find yourself growing from your past experiences? And then on the other hand, do you still see yourself growing from what you're doing today? So do you feel like you have two types of lessons and two types of growth going at one point in time?
Yes, I do. I still grow from my past, and I still look back. I saw strength, I saw power, I saw goodness in God, that He was there. Without God protecting me, I probably stepped on the landmine and blow up already. And And that every time I thought about it, my faith is growing. My strength, my hope, and my belief is growing. And also, while for 40 years now that I've been in this country, I'm growing a lot by doing things, by getting into the new challenges. I don't just learn from my past. I'm keep learning, growing. So yes, I grow both ways.
And do you still have family in Cambodia?
Yes.
There
I
are-
have my dad and my stepsisters.
Oh, so you're lucky enough to still have your father alive. Isn't that a wonderful thing?
Yes.
My dad comes over every Tuesday night, and my parents come over and have dinner with my wife and I. So we have a great time with that. Do you get to communicate with them now, or is it still a little difficult to communicate with them?
It's not easy, but if we have some important thing to talk to each other, we'll make it happen.
Well, that's fantastic. So what do you do now other than the coaching and the authoring? What else are you doing? I'm reading here that you're also a podcaster yourself. You I love that it says that you're one of the things on your board here says winning perspective. Why don't you tell us something? Why don't you show us a little of your winning perspective? Show our audience a little bit of your winning perspective.
my 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 idea of leading people, well, I'm speaking to inspired people, so I'm as an inspirational speaker, I want to find some way to lead people to be more positive. So the winning perspective is very positive, because we have a perspective on any situation, but you can change your perspective if you want it. If you want to be positive, you can make it happen to be positive. I a few years ago, I walked in the park, and then I stepped into an uneven ground, and I fractured my foot.
Ooh,
So li- on I was limping, and I was using the scooter for 3 months. I was so upset at the beginning. And then I realized, I said, okay, stop, feel so sorry about this, because I should be grateful that it's only my ankle that fractured. I could have fall and my head couldn't hit the big stone next to it.
yeah.
It could be worse. So from that perspective, it is a winning perspective. It's because you don't want to put yourself in a sad victim mindset.
Is there a trick? And I know trick is a bad word to use for this, but is there a trick, Sarah, in your mind that you can, how we always have people telling you, well, imagine people in this situation, imagine how much worse they have it. Is there a trick that we can tell ourselves once in a while when we feel down? Because we all feel down once in a while. Is there a trick that we can fool ourselves into thinking more positive ways? Is there a trick? Do you have an exercise where we can sit there and go, hey, snap out of it. You're breathing, you're alive, you're doing okay, gosh, and people like you. I just had to do that Saturday Night Live thing. I don't know why, but I had to do it.
Yes, it's not a trait, but it's a habit that we can snap ourselves into a positive side. Because if we don't do that, nobody can help us. So we look at the glass. We can say it's half full instead of half empty. You appreciate what you already have in that glass. That means you appreciate what you have. So when you are slipping yourself into a bad situation, you look for something good. You can find good in any situation. That means you are grateful. You appreciate what God provided you. And when they evacuate people from the city, I left behind everything. I mean everything.
Yeah.
Not only that, I was separated from my family. I could not go home. I could moan and groan and grumble, but I went day to day, appreciate that I'm still alive, appreciate that I still have my life. I still have my family so that I can think about that. I can feel the love that I used to have. So in any situation, no matter how bad that is, you can always find something good to be grateful for. And another way to look at situation is this. You can accumulate, you can keep track of all the good things that you already have, that God already blessed you with. The gratitude journal, the gratitude pile that you pile up, all the things that God bless you with.
You know, you said something a little bit earlier that you said, which is, it's scary on the outside, it's scary to hear, but it's powerful that you say to yourself, I could have stepped on a landmine. You know, I mean, you're one of the people where you can literally say, I survived almost stepping on landmines, getting away from landmines, and I'm still here. You've also mentioned God a few times. Was this situation a religious strengthening, or was this what really brought religion into your life?
Well, the whole thing, it strengthened my faith.
Okay.
When I was young, at that time that everything happened, I didn't know anything about God, about religion, about anything. I was still young. I was just focused on school. But I have an idea that God exists. That's the only thing that I know. I think God exists. So when things got so bad that I almost died, I prayed to God. But now, 45 years later, my faith keep growing. I'm growing into my faith and appreciate God much more because every time I thought about it, I know God was there. When I escaped out of the jungle, out of captivity, it was God who lead me out of the jungle instead of let me wandering around in the jungle, around. So my faith keep growing every day.
How did your journey end up here in America? How did you get here?
I made a mistake. I made an escape.
And
It was an escape.
it was an
Actually.
escape. Did you have to go to like the embassy, or how did the embassy help you get here?
Yeah. At that time, there was the refugee camp that was set up by United Nations
Okay.
along the Cambodian border. So when people escape out of Cambodia, crossing the landmine and everything, people that survive will find that refugee camp. And then that refugee camp also was connected to the immigration service that was set up in Bangkok. So I had to go through the process.
See, I remember watching a program that was just devastating to watch. So I can just imagine the range of emotions that you were feeling about one of our embassies that was overrun at the time, and they had all of the people trying to escape from there, and we had our brave servicemen at that point in time that was trying to load as many people onto helicopters and get them onto ships as possible. And then when they'd land on the ships, when they'd get them onto the ships, they were in such a time crunch that they had to take and push the choppers into the sea just so the ships could handle all the people. I commend you on your journey. I think that what you've done is, I mean, it's a fantastic story. What would be one lesson that you, Sarah, would tell somebody who's feeling a little bit trapped, a little bit down on themselves? What would be that lesson to them be today? Somebody who's lost in their mind, what would be something you could say to them to maybe give them a brighter outlook?
I would say never give up hope. Look for a sparkle of hope that you can hold on to. And then search for the love in your heart, because I fight for my life. I did not give up because I love my family so much that I would do anything just to survive. Just one more day, just keep going one day at a time to survive. And I made it out. So have love, have hope, and also have faith.
Your family, since you've come to adulthood, do you have family?
I'm married, but I have 2 stepsons, wonderful sons. Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's fantastic. I love hearing that. And what are your next steps? Are you going to write another book, or are you just going to continue to speak?
I will continue to speak. My speaking career is only at the beginning.
Yes.
I still feel like I'm invisible. People still didn't know who Sarah M is. And I'm still need to work on visibility to let people know that I'm here. I'm here, I'm ready to speak, to inspire, to help and motivate and encourage people, because everybody can use the encouragement.
That's very true. That's very true. We've got to understand that, you know, as you have said, you know, there are we're in a situation that we have our lives, we have our, you know, we have our families. A lot of us have our families, and there, it's not a bad thing to feel down, but you've got to get yourself out of it. And if you stay down, you're in danger of taking that onto yourself, right?
Yes, yes.
So give us like one story from since you've been in here, since you've been here from in America. Give us one of the stories of one of the things that made you go, I am so glad that I'm alive and I'm here and I've got this new life. Give us one, what from somebody who wasn't born in this country. Why don't you do me a huge favor? Let's even change the directions on this. From somebody who did not come from this country, or you're not from here, but you're here now. Give us one view of why America is so beautiful to you.
America is so beautiful. I noticed right away when I landed in United States. I landed in Connecticut. It was my mom's cousin who sponsored me to come. But he had a situation that his job transferred him out of Connecticut before I ever arrived.
Oh no.
So before he moved out, he talked to the church that he belonged to, and the church pulled themselves together. They helped me starting my new life. The church was amazing. The people at the church was amazing. That's when I start growing my faith even stronger, when I see people that pour out their love, their kindness to the unknown people. Like I was unknown. I was not able to speak English. But with their love, they helped me restore my life. So America is beautiful. People are beautiful. People are kind. There are some unkind people, but they are very, very small percentages. I, I, I would ignore them. They are not the representative of America. America is full of people with kindness and compassion and love.
I'm talking to Sarah M., the author of How I Survived the Killing Fields, talking about her story of getting out of Cambodia in 1975. She is now an author and a motivational speaker, and she does all kinds of different speaking. What are some of the areas that you speak at?
I speak at the community, at the event like conference, seminar, and corporation, Rotary Club, Kiwanis Club, wherever they have a community, wherever they need a speaker, I was there.
You're going to be there. Well, how do people get a hold of you, Sarah?
They can go to my website, saraim.com, SARAIM.com. They can also call me, 727-512-3017.
Well, thank you very much, Sarah. For me personally, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. We just made the arrangements for you to join us yesterday, and I remember hearing about your book, and I remember, wow, that's going to be something exciting to talk to you about. It's something that, as a history fan, I'm a huge fan of history, and of course, with history, you know, you deal with a lot of conflicts and everything. Hearing survivor stories, it's one of the things that I love stories. I love every person's story. Every person has a story that somewhere in that story, you can save somebody's life with your words. And Sarah, your story can save so many lives just because you bring that inspiration, you bring that warmth and that feeling of love to us. And I want to thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Zach.
And once again, folks, you can go to Sarah, SARAIM.com. And Sarah, is that where you get your book from?
Yes. If they go to the book tab, they will find the book.
Well, that's fantastic. Were you going to say something else?
I was just about to say that there was one person who was in my audience. And she listened to me, and then she read my book, and then she saw me a few months later, and she approached me. She told me that she will never forget me because she had been suicidal all her life.
Wow.
But no more suicidal.
That's got to be that. Let me ask you, was that feeling comparable to escaping? The courage that lady had coming to you and being that thankful to you, was that comparable to the thankfulness you felt of escaping? Or was there there's nothing that can compare to escaping from your situation?
Well, it is comparable. It filled my heart. It's all, it just satisfied my soul. I do this. I share my story. I go through pain by digging back the dark time, because my goal is to help people. So if I can help one person, I'm very satisfied.
You know, the best way to look at it is if you can help one person, there's one more person who can help another person, who can help another person. Therefore, we can help so many together. Sarah, I want to again thank you so very much. I've been joined by Sarah. I'm a wonderful author, wonderful speaker, wonderful story. I love that to death. Love you. I think that you've done a great job here. Please come back and visit us, will you?
I will.
All
Thank
right,
you.
we'll keep up with that. Hey guys, we're gonna run to a real quick commercial and talk about one of the great missions that we work with. Please make sure you go to saraim.com. That's SARAIM.com, and you can pick up her book at saraim.com/book. Thank you again, Sarah. Have a wonderful day, and please come back and join us again.
Thank you. You too, Zach.
Hey everybody, it's Zach Clayton. I'm here with a great friend of mine. We just met a couple weeks ago on a brand new networking. Matter of fact, you guys heard from Gabriel 2 weeks ago, and we met on Gabriel's networking program. So this is one of the gentlemen that I met, and he is doing some wonderful, wonderful things. He's got a great book out. He works with kids. He helps people with coaching, everything. And you're in Johannesburg, South America, correct?
Johannesburg, South Africa.
South Africa, not South
I'm inviting
America.
all your listeners to come over.
Yeah. We're all going to get on a boat and we'll be right there, man. So, sounds like fun to me. So I'd like to introduce to you, and I'm going to try this. I practiced it once and I got it. So we're going to try it again. It's George Mutendadzamira.
Perfect. I give you an A, Zach.
That sounds good. I'd settle for a C because I know I kind of messed it up there, but you know what? I'm good with that. So, George, let's start with this. Why did you get into coaching? Why is it coaching that you like to do? What do you find exciting about helping people in business?
Okay, so let's take a step back and say, George Mutendadzamira. I'm an executive business and life coach. I'm based here in Johannesburg, South Africa. I have a business called Vula Unlock Consulting, which is coaching. We consult a little bit on other issues, but the main focus is coaching. But we also do speaking on public platforms. We do facilitating. I'm an author. But to your question, why coaching? So in my other life, in my previous life, I practiced as an attorney for about 10 years.
Right.
I left that, I went into commerce, was a legal advisor, then moved into corporate affairs, I did marketing. And then I had responsibilities for 16 African countries around alcohol strategy, antitrust law strategy. But in all those positions, there was one thing that came through, and it was the interactions with executives and people in general. And I would say the frustration in some of them for not progressing quickly enough, and in others, just a directionless. I'm using that word advisedly, a directionless, because people get to a certain place and they kind of plateau. And what a coach does is to ignite something in them to create goals for them to look ahead and move forward. And so when I interacted with people, not as a coach, but just as a colleague, I would help guys think goals, set goals. And I realized it's something I could actually do for people, because I suppose Zach is because I talk quite a bit. So maybe it's because I can talk to people. But really, I have found in the years that I've been coaching, the one thing that most people really appreciate is what I call a safe space. Now, a safe space is where you can dream big, think of things that you want to do without worrying that it's going to be broadcast on CNN and the whole world knows about it and laugh at it. You can say anything to a coach, anything, because that conversation is confidential. But what the coach does is he helps you not only get clarity in your head about where am I going, why am I going there, but he's a cheerleader and an accountability partner. Now, the cheerleader for me is very, very important. If I tell you the goals that I had, my biggest cheerleader was my mom. You know, you would get to a place where you're like, oh, and she'll cheer you up and cheer you up. Now, as a coach, if you can play that role effectively, I guarantee you, you will see people blossom. And so you might even be a football coach, not necessarily a business coach like me, but giving someone the support, allowing them to make mistakes, allowing them to say it's okay not to get it right this time, but let's keep our eyes on the prize. And yeah, so as you can hear, I love working with people.
And do you ever have to curtail somebody's dreams? Do you ever have to tell them, let's slow down a little bit? You know, you got to learn how to walk before, or you got to learn how to crawl before you walk. Or do you want them to focus on the big picture at all times?
That's an interesting question. And the answer to that, Zach, is this. With coaching, it is you, the client, who determines the pace, in the sense of I'm asking you questions and in your mind, you are seeing possibilities yourself.
Okay.
Now, so if I'm coaching Zach and Zach says, I'm going to do it tomorrow. The only question I'm going to be asking Zach is in his mind, let's put a structure to that. Let's put some step. You want to do it tomorrow? Let's see, what exactly are you going to be doing tomorrow? I'm going to do X, Y. I'm going to do Y. So it is the questioning towards, okay, so you've given yourself 2 minutes to do this. Is that a realistic time to achieve this? Maybe I should give myself 5 hours. And that's the conversation. So it's not for the coach to say, hey, hold back. Let him go with the energy. And because it's when I was a kid trying to learn cycling, Dad would just say, hey, there's the bike, let's go. And he's hanging around, of course, because he knows you're gonna go boom and come back again. And you will figure it out yourself, but he's walking side by side, keeping an eye, and you're trying to cycle, and that's what a coach should do. Get the guy to do it, but be there as the support and help him out.
Bruises and scrapes are okay on a bicycle, but if you know that somebody's going to break a bone, you want to prevent that. So that's kind of, you know, So that's a really good. Who do you like to coach? I know that you and I have talked about larger corporations. You like to get in front of a lot of people. What about the smaller guy? Do you like coaching smaller?
In fact, I actually prefer working with small people, small business people. Executives, that's a structure. So you go into a company, there's a manager, a director, a lawyer who wants to be a coach. That's on one side. But on the business side, for me, I love working with small enterprises. More importantly, around the area of mindset, helping them to cope with the headwinds, things around persistence, things around ensuring that the individual is keeping the desire alive. Because with every entrepreneur, there's a time when you say, okay, no, this is diverted, I'm cutting, I'm leaving. And when you work with the coach gets you to look at perspectives. Oh, I want to quit. If I help you well, I will get you to look at another perspective that says, hey, maybe if I hang in there. And so it's that I like to call it co-creation with your, but yes, with the small guy, it's much more fun because you can see the impact is direct. You can see that the individual was here, now he's moving. And so there's joy both ways. In me as the coach to see my client succeed, and in the client himself seeing his business grow, impacting his family, impacting his community.
I know that we love working with the smaller guys as well, you know, and that's one of the things that we talked about, because the smaller guys are the ones who really impact economies. And you know, no matter where they're at, I mean, it's Walmart can go and put a store in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean if they wanted to. They can. And somebody gave me this joke, so I have to use it. And you know, if there's a Walmart, it's going to be followed by a Subway, in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, because they've always got the sandwich shop Subway in there. Anyway, poor joke, but it is really kind of funny. You know, if Walmart succeeds in that area, great. If they fail in that area, they're going to end up selling the land back and they're going to end up making a profit on it. They don't really care. They care. Don't get me wrong there. But you know what? We as small business owners, we can't do stuff like that. We have to make sure people are always opening our doors. So as a small business owner, how often do you see somebody go, well, this is what my plan is. This is what I want to do. And you look at him and you go, let's change directions a little bit and let's focus on, how often do you have to get somebody to focus on one thing before basically putting the horse before the cart? You know, how often do you got to get it to go in the right direction? Is that a huge part of your job, or do you kind of let them go with what they want to do?
So let's start from the start. So I engage a client and we create goals. What are your goals? Well, I want to build XYZ outlet. Then the next thing we do is we do what we call the milestones or landmarks. People call them mini goals. These are, some people call them strategies. These are the small steps you take to get to the big goal. So your small steps must follow sequentially to get you to the big goal.
Right.
So if I want to build this outlet there, I need to start here, the finance, the land, the thing, that. So it's got to be sequential to get there. So you don't really need to say to the client, this must come before this, because they will see it. If you're doing it well, you're creating this pathway to it. What will happen though, is that as you implement it, some things may happen quicker than others. And then now obviously you have to look at it and say, okay, now we've moved this step. How do we review and evaluate to see where we are and how we are progressing? So, you know, we talk about SMART goals, right? Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. But in there, at the end, there's an evaluation and review. So they now call them smarter goals. So you must always be reviewing and evaluating to say, okay, where are we now? And if you're doing it well, you're a great tech team. I like to use the word tech team because you and your client are great tech team, as in wrestling, right?
Yeah.
You are a great tech team because if you really do well, you're gonna hit your mark. But let me say something that's very dear to me, Zach, and it is this: when I'm working with a client to set goals, there is the getting, and the getting is, I want to build a service station, I want to buy a house, I want this, I want that. And I help you get that. But beneath that, as a coach, what is very important to me is what habits are you building so that you become a new man, you become a person who now habitually creates goals and works. So, and you might not even need to talk to me the next time. You might actually create your own goals, following those steps that you and I have worked with you. And so when I see that part growing, that the individual is habitually becoming really more structured, more goal-oriented, then I know my job is done. I won't get money because he's doing it on his own. But I guarantee you, there is much more joy in me when that happens. Because I know I have changed somebody. And guess what? He is going to influence his community. Now he's going, hey, listen, this is what I learned. And so if I succeed with him and get his business going, he's probably going to influence the next 200 or 300 people, because now they're going to see the way he does.
Yep.
There's joy there.
And that's, you know, that's one of the ways that we see things. You know, money runs the world. We all know this. But helping somebody succeed is a lot more important. And so I love that. I love the way that you think there, and your vision. I think that that's wonderful. Tell me a little bit about winning the God way.
Yes, winning the God way is a little book I have written. It's very short, and it talks about, in this book, you will learn to master the art of goal setting, take responsibility for all aspects of life, and develop and adopt a winning attitude. The subheading here is mastering the art of goal setting to live a fulfilled life. You know, research shows that if you walk down the street and you ask 100 people, say, how many of you have goals? People probably say, well, I have something about something. But if you ask, how many of you have written goals? You'll be lucky to get 10 or so people saying to you, I have written goals. And of those with written goals, if you say to them, how many of you actually have an accountability partner, so that when you falter, somebody is there to say, hey, where are you with our goal? That number shrinks big time. But research will show you that those who write down goals have a far greater chance of succeeding in their goals. And those who pick up an accountability partner, whether you want to call him a coach or whatever you want to call him, have an even higher percentage of winning. So winning the God way takes through what is goal, what are goals, defining them. We've talked about milestones and actions. And we talk about something dear to me, two things. Taking responsibility. So the third chapter here is called The Buck Stops Here, taking responsibility. Because the world is getting many people who don't take responsibility for their actions. The man, the real man, and I said the real woman there, when I use that word, the real person takes responsibility. I've done well, I've messed up. In either case, I'm taking responsibility. This is me, and I'm going to rectify it. That is huge, because once you get that into your head, those are the people who will succeed in life. And then making decisions. I can't tell you how many times you work with entrepreneurs and you say, have you done this? No, I haven't done. I'm still thinking about it. And make a decision. Sometimes decisions are made with half the facts or a quarter of the facts. And I always say, people in combat, if you're in combat, my brother, and someone is shooting at you, you don't say, give me all the information about the terrain, and you make a call and you go. Sometimes it's wrong, you know, but make the decision. Make a decision and move. And so that's what I'm trying to get people to do. Make decisions, take responsibility for your life, but have a good attitude. Have an attitude that recognizes that your success depends on the next guy. Nobody will ever succeed on his own side. You need the next guy.
That's right.
You might have a lot of money. You might be the poorest person in the land, but both deserve your full respect. And you must respect them equally, and ensure that when you walk away, the person will say, you know, I've spoken to that guy. He showed me respect. You're putting humanity into someone. You know, that I'm really passionate about that. Then we talk about gratitude, being grateful for the little things. Hey, you know, I have a roof over my head. Somebody helped me. Thank you. The word thank you, those two words are so important. And please, say please. And all those other things and so the book is 9 chapters, and we talk about little habits like waking up early and doing the right thing. And then we also talk about dreaming big. I encourage that. When you're a kid, your imagination runs wild. You dream very big. But the older you get, you trim that. And I always say, no, don't. Dream big, keep dreaming, keep dreaming. Because it is when you keep dreaming, when you keep seeing things, that's when things align towards. The Bible talks about say it with your mouth. When you speak it with your mouth, God hears you. And so if you're a godly person, but even if you're not a godly person, dreaming big attracts what you dream. And so we always say everything starts with a picture in someone's mind. So the cell phone was at some stage a picture in someone's mind. Nobody, if that person had died, that would have been the end of it. But you know what? Everything starts with your car that you drive, everything. So have your own picture, paint it for us to see. And I love encouraging people. And as you can hear, so when I'm talking to the youth, I want them to leave the room energized and whatever. But the book then helps them to put a structure to say, let's set the goals. Because it's one thing being, motivated, and then you get back home and reality comes home. There's no food on the table. We want to write them down and let's keep chasing. Let's keep chasing. Yeah, Zach, I love this subject.
There's not a lot that motivation can't charge, is there? I mean, motivation can really charge you into changing a lot of things, especially your life, right? You can use motivation to move you.
Absolutely.
So, and what about mistakes? Are mistakes a bad thing?
Oh, they are, and that's another lesson that I like to talk about. We have grown up demonizing mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And so we think, oh, he's made a mistake. And so everyone is scared stiff of making a mistake. And so we all kind of like to do the right thing. And as a result, we lose our creativity. We lose the most valuable thing that we're given by God, and that is the creativity. Go out there and make the mistakes. Because it is when you do that, that's when you begin to learn. That's when you realize, I have a grandson, and he pops up here, and there's the switches, and don't put your hand in there. Don't. The more you say, the more he'll want to go in.
Yep.
But let me guarantee you, the day he puts his little thing there, that's the end of the story. The day he gets onto that bike and falls and gets up again. So you want to encourage, and if there was a way I could get all the kids in the room and say, take your risks, just try climbing up there. Some will get up, some won't, but in the process, you know your limitations, you know where you excel, but mistakes, in short, that I want everyone to make a mistake. Everybody go out and make a mistake. In fact, it's not that I want, everyone does make mistakes. It's just that we cover it up. Celebrate your mistakes. Tell the whole world, listen, I tried this and it didn't work.
Yep. And
what did I learn from it?
And where did I grow from it? That's the other thing, is that, yeah, learning is one thing. Growing from it is something completely just as important. So, well, George, I want to thank you, and I want to welcome you to the Community Pay It Forward family. You are going to be joining with us, and so we're excited to have you. I love your energy. I love your just compassion and your wanting to go and help people. That is so important to what we're trying to build, and with just a culture of helping people. So, George,
Amen.
Thank you very much for joining us today. You enjoy it. By the time this runs, it's going to be 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm pretty sure that you're going to be asleep by that time. But
it's winter, so it's cold.
Yeah, oh, yeah, it's winter for you, huh?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, well, it's 100. Well, actually, it's only like 83 degrees here right now. But Yeah, we're finally done with that winter time, I think. It did snow here in Colorado 3 weeks ago, though. So, you know, I'm afraid to say that yet, but yeah. So, but I want to thank you very, very much for joining us, and thank you, my friend. And I cannot wait to learn some more about you. I definitely want to have you on again if you're good with that.
Happy to do that. Always
All
a
right.
pleasure, Zach. Always
Well,
a
thank
pleasure.
you.
Take good care now.
You
Bye-bye
too.
now.
Okay, thank you. That's
Cheers.
George, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you, my friend. Great interviews all the way around today. I want to thank all of my guests. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, everybody for watching, everybody for checking us out. You know, wonderful, wonderful feelings all the way around. I'm just going to say it. You know, I mean, kind of feel energized enough to where I could run through a tree. Smart enough to know I cannot run through a tree. Probably because I would try it if I could. But hey, everybody, you know what? We're about 2 minutes over the show. We're going to be bringing you MKE now tomorrow. We're not going to join them late anymore. We're going to be bringing them to you on Thursdays from now on. We're also going to be playing World of Women on Thursdays as well. Actually, we're probably going to end up moving that to Wednesday. It was just kind of a busy day with all the recordings and everything. So I want to thank everybody who joined me. I want to thank Sarah. I want to thank George, and I want to thank Joel, all for joining me, all for bringing that great information. Please, everybody out there, love somebody because somebody out here loves you. Make sure that you got to remember, all right, please just remember, nobody has to go it alone when we all come together. Remember the clothes thing. If you got clothes that don't fit you anymore, get them on the back of somebody who needs them. If you got food that you're not going to eat, pass it on to somebody who needs it. There's only one race. It's the human race. And you know what? We all live, we all die, we all need, we all have. Let's make sure that we share. Let's get people going. Let's get people helping each other. Please remember to visit our website, communitypayitforward.us. And if you have any questions whatsoever, if you'd like to learn more about what we do, send us an email, networking@communitypayitforward.us, networking@communitypayitforward.us. You can also give us a phone call, 970-909-0751, 970-909-0751. My name is Zach Clayton. I want to thank Emily Golmer, and I want to thank Sarah Goodell. They both do a wonderful job helping me keep my facts straight and keep my head on straight-ish. And by the way, I made one of the dumbest looks in that interview earlier today. I could not believe it. That was horrifying. So if anybody else caught that, sorry. But I'll try to do better next time. So once again, please, everybody, love somebody out there because somebody out here loves you. Have a great night. We'll see you on Friday for Community Impact.
Stepping out of her fear, bring me home, out alone, show me the way. You wanna be a part of Sunset Boulevard.